let's chant a Mangala. Chant some basic mantras. There's more extensive mantras we could chant, but we'll give you guys some basic mantras to chant. We can all do together, and we will, then we'll try to discuss the endless glories of Lord Ram's pastimes, which is a tall task that I'm wholly unqualified for, but I will try my best as being the, you could say, person in charge of certain things here. So I will try my best to represent these teachings properly. Yes, is it not connected? Oh no, I don't need the harmonium. Yes. So I'll scroll for everyone. So everyone, we can chant these together. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtang Stapitang Yena Bhutale Svayang Rupa Kadamayang Dadati Swapadantikang Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupang Sagrajatang Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitang Savadutang Parijana Sahitang Krishna Chaitanya Devang Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitangscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Himate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I would like to offer my obeisances to the spiritual masters, gurus in my life, both Diksha and Shiksha, who without their mercy I'd have absolutely nothing to offer and live like actually a useless life. So it's only by their mercy do I have anything at all to share today. And has the Lord graced me with this wonderful opportunity to perform the Sankirtan of His glories. So please bless me to say something that will be pleasing to them. I also want to offer my heartfelt obeisances to our entire Gaudiya Guru Varga, our entire Guru Parampara, from which our gurus have been empowered and have been able to share this wisdom. Without their mercy, it's all impossible. And finally, I want to offer my obeisances unto all of the assembled Vaishnavas here, and even the Vaishnavas past, present, and future. So now we can chant this one I skipped. Vanchakalpa Turibhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So my obeisances to you all. Thank you for joining on Ram Navami. It is such a special thing to do. Again, it's one of the main limbs of bhakti, not one of the it's part of the Bhagavat Shravan, to come and hear about Bhagavatam. And actually, Ram Navami, we're going to go to the Bhagavatam. It is mentioned in the Bhagavatam, but it's not as prominent as maybe. I know when I first read the Bhagavatam, 9th canto, I was like, wow, now they're going to get to Lord Ram's pastimes. This is going to be huge. And then it just went one chapter, 2 chapter done, and I was like, wait a second, am I missing? Is there pages missing? What's going on here? So we'll explain why that is. Mainly, well, first, what happened here? So 4 days have passed in the Bhagavatam recitation. And Maharaj Parikit he's also excited. Now he's going to hear about Bhagavan Sri Ram. And the Ramayana is 24,000 verses. For a little bit of context, the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is 18,000 verses. So you're looking at 1.33% longer than the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharaj Pariksit has 3 days to live. And still, Shukadev Goswami has to give the main portion of the Bhagavatam, which he hasn't heard before, and that's the glories of Sri Krishna. So Shukadev Goswami, what he actually did is he summed up the entire Ramayana in one verse. And that's this verse. But then Maharaj Pariksit, he was just like, wait a second, no, this can't be it. He was just like kind of stunned. And then Shukadev Goswami said, all right, this is the most popular pastime on the earth right now. You have to understand the context. 5,500 years ago, they weren't speaking the Mahabharata. They were speaking the Ramayana. So this was the most prominent, Puranic story on the earth at the time. So there was no need to go in great, extensive detail of it. So Shukadev Goswami still, though, to please Maharaj Pariksit, he gave these 2 chapters. We can't go through the whole 2 chapters. And actually, even if we just cover the subject matter in this one verse, I will feel successful. But it cannot even be covered in one class. And I'll try again on Sunday. But still, I don't think I'll even manage. So we'll try our best. So let's see. I don't know the meter, so we'll try our best with me. It's 9:10:4, by the way. If you'd like to see the one verse in which Shukadev Goswami tried to encapsulate the whole Ramayana, you can look at this one verse, 9:10:4. So let's try. Gorvarte tyakta rajyo vacharanuvanang padma padbhyang priyayaha. Difficult. Gorvarte tyakta rajya vyacharadanuvanang padma padbhyang priyayaha pani sparshakshamabhyang mrijita patarujoyo harindranujabyam pani sparshakshamabhyang mrijita patarujoyo harindranujabyam vairupyachurpanakya priya viraharu sharopita bruvidrimbaha Vairupyachorpanakya priya viraha rusharopita bruvidrimbha Trastad birbada setu kaladavadahana kosalendrovatanaha Trastad birbada setu kaladavadahana kosalendrovatanaha. That's the best I have for you. There's a lot of words here. Maybe we should or should not do. I think we're going to skip it. But we're going to go to the translation. To keep the promise of his father intact, Lord Ramachandra immediately gave up the position of king and, accompanied by his wife, mother, Sita, his wife and mother Sita, wandered from one forest to another on his lotus feet, which were so delicate that they were unable to bear even the touch of Sita's palms. The Lord was also accompanied by Hanuman, or by another monkey, Sugriva, by a monkey, he's saying, king of the monkeys, and by his own younger brother, Lord Lakshman, both of whom gave him relief from the fatigue of wandering in the forest. Having cut off the nose and ears of Shurpanakha, thus disfiguring her, the Lord was separated from Mother Sita. He therefore became angry, moving his eyebrows and thus frightening the ocean, who then allowed the Lord to construct a bridge to cross the ocean. Subsequently, the Lord entered the kingdom of Ravan to kill him, like a fire devouring a forest. May that Supreme Lord Ramachandra give us all protection. So Shukadev Goswami was ready to move on after that. But Maharaj Pariksit was stunned. He's like, no, wait, please. He didn't say anything yet. He was just like looking at him like, you're going to continue talking about Lord Ram, right? And so Shukadev Goswami, the all-knowing sage that he is, he said, okay, we can go 2 more chapters. And so he gives these 2 chapters, 10 and 11. And there's not even a commentary on this. So let's start some Ramayana commentary. Maybe we can look at the past verse. That's a ton of, maybe like 1 paragraph from Prabhupada, just to see. The past verse is, O King Parikshit, the transcendental activities of Lord Ramachandra have been described by great saintly persons who have seen the truth. Because you have heard again and again, this is why he was going to skip, because you've heard this since you're a baby. This is the most prominent pastimes on the planet at the time. Because you have heard again and again about Lord Ramachandra, the husband of Mother Sita, I shall describe these activities only in brief. Please listen. So Prabhupada is saying, modern Rakshasas, posing as educationally advanced merely because they have doctorates, have tried to prove that Lord Ramachandra is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but an ordinary person. But those who are learned and spiritually advanced will never accept such notions. They will accept the descriptions of Lord Ramachandra and his activities only as presented by Tattvadarshis, those who know the absolute truth. This is a very famous verse in Bhagavad Gita 4:34. Supreme Personality of Godhead advises, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshana. So right, we know this, how to understand knowledge, how to approach Guru, how to approach anyone with more knowledge than you actually. And actually that person can give you their knowledge if you do these things. Tadvidi, if you want to get that understanding, pranipatena, you have to go before them humbly, not like, all right, give me all your knowledge, like something like that, or like some bandit of knowledge or something like this. We do this now because we're on the internet and we think, yes, I'll get knowledge like this, and we go like, yes, it's all mine. But no, this isn't the culture of getting knowledge. You'll get something, but it'll be theoretical. But actually, as Srila Narayan Maharaj, often he would tell his disciples, theoretical knowledge is what? Does anyone know? What is theoretical knowledge? No knowledge. It's not real knowledge. It's nothing, actually. Theoretical knowledge is no knowledge. Real knowledge is gotten like this. So how you go to someone with knowledge? Pranipatina, humbly before them. Pariprashnena. What is pariprashna? What are my Indians? You all know. Yeah, you question them. This is how you get knowledge. If you don't go before someone with knowledge and ask them questions, you're all of the corrupt mental gymnastics that you're performing on reality will never be untangled. So you have to ask questions. If you don't, you're not getting knowledge. And then last, sevaya is what? Render them service. And by rendering them service, you'll further melt their heart, and then they'll be inclined to just want to help you and pour all that knowledge into you and give you that knowledge. So this is the process. Humility, asking questions, and then rendering service. Not going on the internet, not saying, oh, I'll read books. You have to do those things too. Self-study is important. It's one of the, you could say, niyamas of yoga that you have to do, called swadhyaya, or self-study. But if you don't first have a guru and you don't go before them humbly, ask them questions and render them service, you will never get knowledge. So this is the only way. So, now you know. So he says, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. He's tattvadarshana, which is Prabhupada is saying. So unless one is tattvadarshi and complete knowledge of the absolute truth, one cannot describe the activities of the personality of Godhead. Why is he saying this? Because there's so many people who they try to historically pinpoint Ram, and they're coming from the material platform of assumed knowledge, which is not that which should not be assumed, and they make all kinds of crazy theories, and it's all pretty much bogus. And they claim Ram is a historical personality. He did this and this, but clearly no, even though the whole pastime is about him being God, no, that's not true. He's the man. And so on. But they're not tattvadarshi. It's really not worth reading. So a lot of times people, say, yes, I'm reading Bhagavad Gita, or, oh, yes, I'm reading Ramayana, or this, and then they pull out some academic commentary of the thing, and you just cringe. You're like, oh, God. Why? Because it's not tattvadarshi. It's just pretty much that whole reading, other than maybe the bona fide Sanskrit verses, are just a waste of time and actually will mislead them away from the truth. So this should be understood. These things can only be understood by people who have actually realized these things, from people who've actually realized these things. And this, what's that? Not Gandhi. I actually feel ashamed that we sang Gandhi's bhajan. I'm so sorry, actually. Sorry, Gandhi is not Tattvadarshi. I wish I could tell you otherwise, but he's totally not Tattvadarshi. If you want more evidence of that, there's all kinds of scandals he was involved in, but never mind. No need to go into that. But anyhow, where are we here? Unless one is Tattvadarshi in complete knowledge of the absolute truth, one cannot describe the activities of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, although there are many so-called Ramayans, or histories of Lord Ramachandra's activities, some of them are not actually authoritative. Sometimes Lord Ramachandra's activities are described in terms of one's own imagination, speculations, or material sentiments. But the characteristics of Lord Ramachandra should not be handled as something imaginary. While describing the history of Lord Ramachandra, Shukadeva Goswami told Maharaj Parikshit, "You have already heard about the activities of Lord Ramachandra. Apparently, therefore, 5,000 years ago, there were many Ramayans, or histories of Lord Ramachandra's activities. And there are many still, but we must select only those books written by Tattvadarshis, Jnaninas Tattvadarshina, not the books of so-called scholars who claim knowledge only on the basis of a doctorate. This is a warning by Shukadeva Goswami. Rishibis Tattvadarshibhi. Although the Ramayana composed by Valmiki is a huge literature, the same activities are summarized here by Shukadeva Goswami in a few verses." So he's just pretty much telling you what I tried to tell you, that, the Ramayana is so vast. And to have one day a year, because actually the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we don't prioritize the pastimes of Lord Ram so heavily. But actually, every esteemed Gaudiya Vaishnava personality I've seen who does try to go through the glories of Lord Ram, it's the most emotional set of pastimes I've ever seen. I always see more people move to tears in these pastimes than any other pastimes. Why? Because actually these are the most relevant to the common person. These are all, Lord Ram is what's called the Maryada Purushottam Avatar. Meaning Maryada is like ethics, how to properly behave in society, how to follow Varnashram Dharma. And if you study the Ramananda Samvad, which is like an advanced teaching in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the first verse that Roy Ramananda gives to Lord Chaitanya as to what is the goal of life, he's trying to get to the bottom of this question. He actually says to follow Varnashram as the first one. Lord Chaitanya did not accept it. But there's a reason it went first, because without this foundation, without Lord Ram coming and setting the foundation, you're not going to get Krishna's pastimes, and you will not enter Krishna's pastimes. There is a reason you have to systematically study Srimad Bhagavatam from 1st canto to 10th canto. And not just 10th canto, through 12th canto. But if you don't systematically integrate all of the themes and the morals and all of the proper understandings from a spiritual teacher, a guru, then you cannot expect that, yes, I will become some like gopi or some, so a lot of people, we get silly thoughts, that we can just box jump all the way up there without properly climbing the rungs of the ladder. So you have to climb. So this has to be understood. And you're not going to get it through just personal self-study. It doesn't come on your own self-study. It's this theoretical knowledge is truly no knowledge. You'll have no vigyan or actual realization. It will just be information, but not realization. So this is good to know, but we're here to just tell stories today. All the ladies love stories, especially. Especially I know, sometimes I get a little technical, philosophical, and Tanu's just, when are we going to do the stories, Prabhu? Please. When are the pastimes going to be told? So we're getting to it, Tanu, I promise. So, enough philosophy. Actually, what's beautiful about the Ramayana pastimes, when you go through them, there's so much interwoven philosophy. And actually, the reason that the Puranas are told the way they are is because high-class people can study philosophy. Scholars of Vedanta and things like that. But Lord Chaitanya said, no, I'm not this type of high-class person. I'm a great fool, so I just chant the Mahamantra. This is what I do. And what do? We study the Leelas of the Lord, but just by integrating ourselves in the Lord's Leelas, didactically, the way He acts didactically, meaning the way He acts naturally teaches us. And just by studying the pastimes of the Lord, we'll actually naturally integrate so much philosophical concepts into our being, and then we'll live and learn by these higher teachings, just by studying the Lord's pastimes. So we shall begin with the Lord's pastimes. Please bless me that I shall try. These are my notes. I have like 5 words. No, more words than that. But still, I don't have much. But I've actually, by good fortune, I've got to hear the Ramayana now for some years, and the pastimes are quite wonderful and quite memorable. So I can share something. And I spent the last few days also hearing more pastimes, so it's fresh. So I'll try my best. Today is the birthday of Lord Ram. It's also the day, if I heard correctly, that Lord Ram also went to the forest, which is a pastime we'll talk about. And it's also, I believe, the day that Lord Ram and Sita actually had their Swayambara, or their marriage ceremony. So it's actually more than just his birthday, it's his anniversary and the day he got betrayed. So it's very special and also mixed emotions, bittersweet day. But actually, he did not get betrayed because he has come here to perform these specific pastimes, and it was in his heart that he wanted to perform these pastimes. And even the so-called villains of the Ramayana actually are great devotees. So just that should be understood. As there will become one villain where you're just like, we hate her. We'll never, like in India, you'll never see this name. And any children, no one's like, I'm going to name my child this name. Well, you'll, Kaikeyi, So, but actually Kaikeyi is one of the greatest devotees. It's not well known. So maybe the Indians will be shocked. What do you mean, Kaikeyi? She's the villain. But actually, this is not the case. She had a really, just like Hiranyakashipu and Ravan himself were Jai and Vijay, dear associates of the Lord in the spiritual world, and only they could play such a role. Similarly, Kaikeyi is like that. Only she could play the role that she played in the Ramayana. So we should try to understand that. I will end this stop share here. And maybe I'll just end because I have nothing valuable on the screen now. Maybe I'll end that. You don't need to see me. Good. All right. So let's try to get into it. So Lord Ram, he was born in a pretty cool way, mystical way, by Yagya. Why? Because Dasharath Maharaj, he was the great king of Ayodhya. Which actually was the ruling over the world at that time. He was the emperor of the human race. There were other races that also had portions of the world, but of the human race, Dasharath, he was the guy. He was ruling everything. Dasharath means 10 chariots. He was renowned for his warrior fighting skills, and it was like fighting against 10 what is that called? Maharathas? Does that sound right? Maharathis, fighting against 10 incredible charioteer warriors all at once. Was incredible. But anyhow, he had like 300 something wives, and then also they had, maidservants and concubines. He had so many ladies at his disposal for courtship, but he never had a son. So that's problematic for a king, especially in the Vedic culture. If you don't have a son to bring your legacy forward, it's said that you've wasted all of that activity that you've done in this world, because the son is supposed to be non-different from the father, and he will carry it forward. So this is Vedic culture. These things don't need to be so stressed, but for the Maryada Purushottam avatar, he follows Maryada, or the Vedic culture and etiquette, down to a T in all circumstances, even when it's wildly uncomfortable and most other people would deem that inappropriate. But not him. He will do everything by the books. So this is the speciality of Lord Ram, and you'll see that, especially, maybe we'll have to talk about that Sunday, but the end pastimes, especially with Ram and Sita returning to the kingdom, just to spoil, those pastimes are quite... Oh my God, how could he do that? How could he follow Dharma? Fly on Dharma, Screw Dharma. It's crazy. We can't do it, but no, he follows it to the T. So anyhow, we'll see certain evidence of that. So he was born by Yagya. So they had a really cool guru for the kingdom. Does anyone know the guru of... No, not Vishwamitra. Vashishta, yes. Vashishta Rishi was Dasharath's guru. Vashishta Rishi is like an incredible sage personality. So Vashishta, he was their guru, so they had like one of the best gurus ever to, ask, well, what do we do? We don't have a king, we don't have... So he said, okay, we have to do this special yagya will arrange. All the details of the yagya I can't tell you, but they did the special yagya, and out of the fire came an exalted personality holding what? All the cooks here, you should know. Kheer, yes, sweet rice. This is the ultimate nectar. So if you like kheer, so does the Lord, because he was born from kheer. So anyway, a big portion, a bowl of mystical, magical kheer was brought out of the fire. So okay, very cool. So they took this, and Dasharath had 3 prime wives. Does anyone know who they were? The eldest is Kaushalya. The second, Sumitra, and then the third is Kaikeyi, yes. So these were and his favorite was, at this point, it was Kaikeyi actually, because she was the youngest and probably the cutest still, and so for the man, that these things, that's right. He had given her boons. She saved him and was quite like this. So what happened is he gave half to Kaushalya because she was the eldest, and he gave half to Kaikeyi. But they all had a lot of affection for Sumitra, so they each took a quarter of their own and gave it to Sumitra. So Sumitra actually got the most. She got the most kheer, just by being a great wife. And the other wives, I know in today's age this cannot even be imagined, sharing a husband. But back then they did it, and they gave this kheer to her. So what happened is, what was supposed to happen is, okay, you feed this to a wife, and then you conceive with her, and then a mystical, magical son will come. So, first night, she ate the kheer, Kaushalya ate the kheer, and the first son was born today, and that is Lord Ram. Then, the next day, Kaikeyi ate her share, and took birth was Bharat, yes. And Bharat is also a very special personality. It's his birthday tomorrow. So he was conceived the next day, and he was born the day after. And then, next, were who?
Lakshman and Shatrugna.
Yes, Lakshman and Shatrugna. They were born through Sumitra the following day. So these are all little expansions of Vishnu. Actually, believe it or not, just so Krishna appears in this world as an avatar of Vishnu, and it appears that way externally, Lord Ram also appears this way as a portion and avatar of Vishnu, but that's also only externally. That actually, from Lord Ram, many Vishnus will come. Lord Ram has his own planet above the normal Vaikuntha planets, and devotees of Lord Ram actually go higher than the basic tier of Vaikuntha in the spiritual world. So that should also be known. It could be known, but it's not generally well known for the most of the Hindu population. But anyhow, he appeared as a portion of Vishnu, and he was just an amazing boy. From the moment he came out, he was the most dear to everybody. Everybody loved Ram, and he was just the most respectful. He followed there in every circumstance. He was trained and followed Dharma to the T in every way, and he was completely pleasing to everybody, because that's what Dharma is. Dharma means that which sustains one's life, and to act in Dharma knows to act appropriately in every circumstance to properly please everybody, And this is very difficult, because it's like, all right, well, it's a modern adage, you can't please everybody. But he did it. Everything that he can, he always acted pleasing to everybody. Even his enemies were like, that's very good of you, like this. So this is Ram. This is, he's every single circumstance. And if we study his pastimes, we will also know how to act in every circumstance, which is very valuable. Because I know most of our problems is just because we didn't know how to act. And if we knew, if we had better information or better knowledge about approaching our life, we wouldn't find ourselves in the millions of messes that we find ourselves in. So if we study and understand how Lord Ram is acting, and we act also appropriately, at least externally, because even the topmost Raganuga Vaishnavas, which is the more advanced practices taught more esoterically. I'm not going to get into that so heavily. But even they follow all Maryada externally. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu followed all Maryada externally, and with internally there may be different sentiments there, which transcend Dharma. But externally, always Dharma is followed. That's not always the case with Krishna, but with the devotees of Krishna, it's always the case. So we should understand that, and we should actually know what is at least the external way we should act. What is appropriate to act in public. Even if there's some other more advanced sentiment inside, it should stay inside. This is actually what should be known. So everyone, whether you're trying to more beginner level devotees, especially studying some of the more esoteric teachings and meeting different gurus who present these things, we can have the immature understanding. Oh well, I don't need all of these lower teachings. I've got my higher teachings right here, and my Gurudev's only giving high teachings. But no, you will never understand Gurudev's high teachings if you don't understand basics. Like you'll never practice calculus if you don't know how to do addition and subtraction. So we cannot just, I'm going to go right up to the top. Let me do my box jumping. No need, I'll box jump to the roof. I don't need to, or to the top of the building. I don't need any type of, I'm a super being. So this is obviously not the case. So Lord Ram, he is acting in Dharma in every step of the way. And it's just, everyone loves him. And actually, who especially loved him is Kaikeyi. Actually, she loved, even though her son is Bharat, she loved him more than Bharat. This is not well known, but she actually loved him more than Bharat. Everybody loved him so much. And so, he spent many years in a very happy childhood, giving so much pleasure to all the residents of Ayodhya. Everyone, this is the nature. If you associate with the Lord, which is the whole goal of bhakti. If you don't know, the whole goal is you're building an awareness of God so that one day you can have a personal relationship. Just like you all might have personal relationships with each other. You might have a spouse, a partner, brothers, sisters, parents, and we have personal relationships in our life. Person to person, emotion to emotion. That can actually be achieved with God. And that's what the whole goal of bhakti is. That's what bhakti is. So we're actually looking for that. And what that looks like is explained later. Now, in this lila of Ram Lila, the prime, mood or ras of relationship, there is some parental, like Dasharath and Kaushalya and even the other mothers. There is some parental mood, and there's a lot of servitude mood. But all of the romantic and other type of rasas found in Krishna Lila, that's not there with the exception of Mother Sita. So, but because all of the foundational rasas are foundational to the other higher rasas found in later Leelas of Krishna Lila, without understanding and practically applying these moods, then we can't go up. So this is very important, very foundational. There's a reason these pastimes, they preclude Krishna's pastimes. So it's very, very powerful. So let's go through them a little bit more. And I'm only just, like I said, the whole pastimes of the Ramayana are longer than the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. And so you're not going to get it in one class or two classes, which I'm going to give 2 classes for it. That's all I've got. But this is, this is an extensive study. But what I can say, if you do somehow have Amazon Audible, which is one of the ways I used to, you can get. There's one devotee named Krishna Dharma. It's definitely not as perfect as reading the whole Mahabharata, but you can get a whole essence for the Leelas. If you at least sometime, maybe while you're at work or something, you can listen to that or something. That's what I used to do: work on the farm and listen to my Mahabharata and Ramayana, and that's how I would get through my seemingly mundane duties. So, he was amazing. Dharmic, and not only that, all of his 3 other brothers, Bharat, Shatrughna, and Lakshman, were equally as amazing. Because the pile of kheer from Kaikeyi went to Sumitra, that brother who came from that, they were naturally inseparable. Shatrughna and Bharat, inseparable, and Lakshman and Ram, inseparable. So they were always with each other, best friends. They all loved each other and they were with each other, but those 2, Those two couples, no one could separate them. They were perfect. Um, so they grew up, and everywhere that Ram went, Lakshman was right there, ready to serve. And everywhere that Bharat went, Shatrughna the same thing. So like this. So they got all the way up to the years of youth, and these boys just grew so strong and beautiful, and everyone is just marveling about how amazing. I'm noticing now, you see Abhiram, and we looked through photos, and we thought he was so cute when he came out, but then now we look at old pictures of him, I'm like, oh my God, you are not nearly as cute as you are now. Oh my God, I don't even want to look at that. I like you right here. So imagine this with the Lord and how he grows up. And it's just this phenomenon. He just gets more and more beautiful. And so Lord Ram is incredibly beautiful, incredibly strong and valiant, and has all the amazing qualities of the Supreme Lord and all the amazing qualities of one who perfects Dharma. And so naturally one day something interesting happened when they were 16 years old. They're all only 1 or 2 days apart. And Vishwamitra, Divyanshi was talking about Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra enters the stage. So this is popular when you have a kingdom, especially when you're a great devotee king like Lord Dasharath, sages will come. Yeah, the sages will come. Even when you have a regular home and you use that home properly in proper grahastha ashram dharma, this will attract sages, and sages will be inclined to give their mercy to devotees who practice all of the codes of Grahastha Dharma. So actually this has happened here. We've tried to practice some codes of Grahastha Dharma, and then many sages have come here. And so, and many of you have been benefited by the sages that have come here. And so, and hopefully if you haven't been so benefited yet, you will get benefited. Just keep coming and we will bring more sage-like folks here. So this happened. Vishwamitra, he enters the scene, and next thing we know, he has a request. So when a sage has a request, what do? You do it. If you don't do it, what happens? Yeah, your family is ruined. Everything's ruined. If you ever upset a devotee, finished. You'll have a big problem. Even in devotee how devotees interact with each other, one of the main things, the biggest offense to Krishna is what? The biggest aparad is what? Huh? Vaishnava aparad. And it's also part of Nama aparad. It's the first one, blasphemy of the Vaishnavas. This is number one. If you make an insult to a devotee, you're finished. No. And actually, in the Vishnu Purana, it says that you're finished. I can save you if you offend me, no problem. You make a save aparad, you do it wrong, proper worship things. If you chant the holy name, no problem. But if you perform Vaishnava aparad, there's nothing you can do. Finished. Nothing you could do except rectify with that Vaishnava. Very important. If you have Vaishnavas in your life, you should always try to act what towards them? Favorably, pleasing. How can I serve you? How can I serve you? You call them Prabhu, means you're my master. How can I serve you? And we call it Prabhu, 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 Prabhu. Do we actually mean Prabhu when we're saying Prabhu? Most likely no. It's just like a formal external etiquette, but actually what it means is, how can I serve you? So anyhow, dasa anudas. So, proper dharmic culture, a saint or a sage, the leader of society, they come, what can we do to please you? So, what does he ask for? Does anyone know?
Ask for Lord Ram to help him kill Taka.
Yes. He has some yagyas he's performing in the forest, and he's having Rakshasa problem. What's a Rakshasa? A demon? What kind of demon? They do... people. Yeah, actually, interesting, Prabhupada actually, he quoted that the Rakshasas are, making these commentaries and things. And actually now that we're seeing in modern files that are coming out, I don't need to get into detail. But it means a cannibal. It means a cannibal. People who eat other people. This is what a Rakshasa is. And they exist today, actually. And even Prabhupada has said they are ruling many things. And actually even now it's starting to be proven, which is very frightening. But yes, this is what's happening. And but they existed then, and they were more prominent then. The Rakshasas were much more powerful and prominent then. But the main thing that makes you a Rakshasa is you eat people. That's so. But the Rakshasas were giving Vishwamitra all kinds of problem. What were they doing? Does anyone know some of the description in the Ramayana? Yes, that's one thing that's problematic. But one way they would, they would disturb the yagyas of the sages in the forest. Do you know? Anyone know what they would do? Both maybe, but usually in order to eat them, they would be killed. They would oftentimes, at least what's described here, and even I don't want to get into the files and stuff, but yeah, usually you have to kill something first before you eat it.
I think
but
that means like they died and they're like it's not like they killed them to eat. Is that what you mean? They killed them to eat?
No,
No.
like they're dead naturally.
Yeah.
no, it's definitely not that.
Yeah.
Like they kill them to eat them. Yes. It's not like, all right, well, let's wait for the human livestock to die and then we'll go collect the body. It's not like that. It's pretty sinister. So anyway, this is Rakshasa culture. It still exists. You just hope you don't get caught up in it. But it exists. It's disgusting, but it's there. What's that? So how they defiled the yagya? Does anyone know some of the things they would do?
They used to throw bones.
Yes, they would throw all kinds of nasty things, including stool and urine and anything they had gross to ruin the thing. They'd vomit everything. Blood, pus, anything that they can get their hands on, they would throw the most disgusting things in the yagya. So Vishwamitra, he actually used to be a Kshatriya, a great warrior, before he became a sage. And actually he got in an argument with Vasishtha, and that's how he eventually decided he wanted to be a sage, because he saw how powerful Vasishtha was. So anyhow, he became a great sage though, and he dropped all these things. And him and Vasishtha were cool. So he wanted Lord Ram and Lakshman to help him and guard him so he could properly do his yagyas. And the sages also in the forest could properly do the yagyas. And also he knew that it's time, the Lord is here, it's time for pastimes now. You're of age, all of the fun childhood pastimes are now over in Ayodhya. Let's get to the reason you came here, some of the reasons because the Lord, he comes, right? Paritranaya sadhunam, right? Yes. Vinashaya cha dushkritam. Yes. So paritranaya sadhunam, to deliver the sadhus, the devotees. And vinashaya cha dushkritam, to kill the wicked people. That's one of the reasons the Lord comes. It may not be the main reason he comes, but it's a reason, and he will always do that. It's a symptom. If the Lord comes, he'll do. So time to do it. So Vishwamitra, he said, I have a humble request. Please, can I take? So Dasharath, naturally, because there's so much affection for Ram, he's ready to throw all Dharma out the window. No, I know you're a sage. But no, I'll personally come. I know what you asked for, but I'll take care of this thing. And Vishwamitra and him are like going through like a friendly argument of just like, no, I want Ram and Lakshman to come. And he's like, no, I'll do this. I'll give you this and I'll give you this. And they're going back and forth. And Vishwamitra's like, I was just testing you. But if you don't have the culture to give a sage what he wants, no problem. I don't need it. And he's ready to leave. So now everyone's a little worried. Ram is concerned, like, 'cause he wants to follow Dharma. And Dasharath, he's like, I got what I want, so I don't mind, But because it's out of love. He's a great devotee. He just wants to be with Ram. He never wants to separate with Ram. But Ram, being the Maryada Purushottam avatar, he's like, no, Dharma cannot be breached. So he's kind of like looking very concerned. And also, he looks at Vasishtha, and Vasishtha says, he says to Vishwamitra, let me try one thing. And he says to him, if Ram and Lakshman go with Vishwamitra, they can get 2 of his very powerful weapons. Does anyone know what they are? Actually, they're qualities that he's attained through his devotional practices. And actually, and if you have these qualities, or if anyone has these qualities, they spiritually have made a lot of advancement. Does anyone know what they are? It's called Bala and Ati Bala. So Bala normally means strength. And Ati is like extreme strength. But what is that strength? What is this Bala? The ability to control one's eating. The ability to be controlled in eating. So that's one strength. And then Ati Bala is even more intense strength. What is that? Sleep. The ability to control one's sleep. Like Arjuna was called Gudakesh. One who's conquered sleep. So So this is actually you actually see our Goswamis and even Srila Prabhupada, even our modern acharyas, their demands for food and sleep are very little. And they can do incredible things on very little. Not all yogis. This is, food and sleep not so prominent. Because they're charged on higher energies. Higher. So, Vashishta, he said to Dasharath, don't you want this for Ram and Lakshman? And Dasharath says, I do want that for Ram and Lakshman. Okay. And he gives blessing to go. But also, this could be understood too, even in our own progress. If we have very high demands for eating and sleeping, then maybe we have more sadhana, more austerity we should take in life, more devotional practice. So these are the two strengths that were offered, and Dasharath said, yes, I'll take, no problem. So Ram, he goes, and all kinds of demons, they're ready to throw blood, stool, and everything, but now they've got Ram waiting for them, and he's just, mowing them down with arrows in a way that only the Supreme Lord could do. Do you have to go, Monica? Thank you so much for coming. Happy Ram Navami to you. Do we have any little prasad we could pack her? Will you take a little prasad to go? Is that... Yes? Thank you so much.
She also made some nice donations as well.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much, Monica. Hare Krishna. So, okay. Now Ram is mowing down all the demons, and there are three very prominent demons who come, and he kills two of them. One is named Taraka, I'm forgetting the other name, but one who is very important is named Maricha. Yes, I know Divyanshu is like on the edge of his seat. I don't want to miss the pastimes. That's good equality. So Maricha, what Ram does, instead of killing him, he launches him with an arrow hundreds of miles into the middle of the ocean. Because he knew you're going to be useful later on. And you'll see why. So he is very useful later on. So Maricha gets blasted out of there, and then all of a sudden, there's all kinds of problems, because now these demons all got mowed down. Now the demons are, who is this personality? So anyhow, while Ram is in the forest, Danya, Hare Krishna, Happy Ram Navami. While Ram is in the forest, he also performed many other pastimes. There's a killing of a few specific demons, and he released them from curses. This often happens too. If something happens, if you say a devotee made an offense in a previous lifetime, they will get some poor result for their offense. But due to their devotion, if they have a sincere devotion, once they've served out the suffering that their offense has caused, the Lord will come and deliver them. So this often happened. This happened with Gajendra, the elephant. You know this in the Bhagavatam, this pastime, where he made some offense in the previous, and then when his offense was exhausted by his intense suffering that he faced, and he finally made some devotional offering to the Lord came and cut the demon apart, and then also returned him out of his elephant body and gave him back his devotional status. So a few of these pastimes happened here. One of them was the releasing of Ahalya. You know this pastime? Gautam Rishi, he had a beautiful wife named Ahalya, and she was very beautiful. And one very prominent personality in the universe named Indra was very attracted to her. And he said, I know what to do. I will dress up like Gautam Rishi, and I will approach her and see if I can get away with this naughty thing that I'm about to do. So he does it. But Ahalya she's like one of the greatest sages in the universe's wife, so she knows, but she's actually a little lusty, so she accepted the proposal, even though she knew it wasn't her husband. And through their union, this inappropriate thing happened. But then Gautam Rishi, he came back on the stage and he realized what happened, because he's an all-knowing sage, and he decided to curse them both. Ahalya got cursed to be stone, and Indra, for his love of the female lower parts, he got the wonderful curse of having 1,000 of those on his body. So it's yes. So he was like this, and he was really miserable with such a situation, naturally. And so eventually Gautam Rishi had mercy on him. He begged, and he said, okay, we can turn each of these regions into an eye. So then he became thousand-eyed instead of thousand-yonid. And so, like that. And so he's actually still known as like the thousand-eyed Indra. But Ahalya got turned to stone. But she also prayed, please, my husband, don't, I'm so sorry for this. And he said, don't worry. Because of your praying, I benedict you that the Lord himself will come and deliver you. So, after the killing of one of the demons, I'm forgetting her name. It was a lady demon. Was it Taraka? I don't know. I don't remember. The Lord, by the touch of his foot on the stone of her body, because her body was left in stone for millions of years, by the touch of his foot, just by the touch of the Lord's foot, the stone form came undone and her beautiful form arose, and this began the pastimes of Lord Ram's miracles. So now his glories will be extolled. So also, while they were there, before they went back, Vishwamitra was invited by his friend Janaka Maharaj. We have Janaki here. And the name Janaki is coming from Janaka. So Janaka is a great king in the Mithila region. And he is the father of Sita Devi. Yes. So he is the father of Sita. He's actually also a great Rajarishi. And he is actually what happens next is very interesting, because this is the proof of Bhagavan realization above Paramatma and Brahman realization. Because Janak is an achieved Brahman realized yogi and Paramatma realized yogi. He loved to meditate. That was his main thing. He loved to just sit there in meditation and merge himself in the bliss of Brahman and perceive the form of Narayan in his heart, in his meditation. This was Janak's, potency. And this was like his favorite thing to do, was be absorbed in samadhi as a yogi. But he has a duty. He's a king. He's managing all the affairs, and he has this beautiful, amazing daughter. Sita was born in a very special way, and she was very, very dear to him, and always took him out of his meditation because of how wonderful she is. But he decided it's natural, the dharmic thing to do when you have a daughter. It is the father's duty to make sure that she gets married properly. This Dharma, this is the Maryada, So every Vedic man, and even if I have a daughter, I know the scriptures will be looking at me, and my wife, if she points to the scriptures and be looking at me, you better make sure she's taken care of. And so it's said to be the father's duty. So Janak has what's called a Swayamvara. But one time, when Sita was a little girl, Janak had one of the family relics in his family was this giant bow of Lord Shiva, and it would take 300 men to lift this bow. So one day, Janak would engage Sita in dusting around this bow, because it's like the prize family. And one day, he saw that Sita just took the bow in her left hand, lifted it and dusted under it, and then put the bow back down. So Janak is like, oh my goodness. It takes 300 men, strong men, to lift this, and she just lifted it like you're lifting a mushroom, and just dust, and put it back down. So then Janak is like, well, when she has a husband, he has to be, the husband cannot be weaker than the wife. This is all Dharma, things. The husband cannot be weaker than the wife. She'll need a stronger husband than her. So for her Swayamvara, the husband has to be able to lift and string the bow, and then he can be her husband. So now it's a very tall order. Who can be such a person's husband? So Janak made this thing, and because Sita is the most beautiful. She is like the goddess of beauty, of fortune. She's actually higher than Lakshmi. Lakshmi is an emanation of her. She's a higher expansion than Lakshmi. So beautiful. And so, everybody they're seeing Sita, and they're there for her Swayamvara, and they're like, oh my gosh, what can I do to attain such a beautiful wife, an amazing wife? Janaki. Janaki is Sita. She is the beautiful daughter of Janaka. So everyone is trying so hard, And also, Lord Ram and Lakshman attend with Vishwamitra, which was also one of the secret intentions of Vishwamitra, because he's like, I want pastimes to happen here. So let's go. We're going to Janak Maharaj's palace, and let's attend the Swayambara. So, by happenstance, when they arrived, I'm forgetting exactly what happened, but Lord Ram and Sita, they both saw each other, and from the moment they saw each other, it was just like the most intense chemistry you could imagine. Just completely fell head over heels in love with each other. And Sita, in her heart, she's thinking, oh, fie upon my father, why did he make this so hard? How would such a beautiful, gentle person like this be able to lift the bow? I'll never be able to marry him. What can I do to marry him? And similarly, after Ram saw her, he was just so struck. And actually, this is very cute, but it's like one of my favorite parts of the pastime. But Lord Ram, he turned to Lakshman. He's like, Lakshman, I've practiced a Dharma. I need to do penance. And Lakshman said, what are you talking about, Ram? He's like, I'm a brahmachari. I should never look upon a woman, but I could not take my eyes off that woman. And so he was so attracted, this is how strict he is, a male in a brahmachari stage of life, he'll never look upon a woman. But he just couldn't, and so Lakshman said, I think there must be, you would never ever practice a dharma. There must be some greater mystery to this. And the reason is the mystery, they have an eternal relationship. This is not an ordinary relationship. They're meant to be together, and this will be seen very shortly afterwards. So, they both see each other, they fall in love, but now there's this really difficult Swayambara. So everyone is there, including Ravana had even come. And everyone is trying to lift this bow and not even getting close. Can't move this thing. It takes 300 strong men to lift it. It took 300 men to get it out into the middle of the ceremony for everyone to try and lift, and like that. So everyone's trying, all the greatest kings and princes of the world, driven by their desire to attain Sita Devi as their wife, but everyone failed, including Ravan. Ravan couldn't even lift the bow. So now, Janak, he said, is there nobody left? Is there nobody who can, powerful enough to lift this bow? Is this really it? And he was actually serious. He's like, Sita is, fie upon him. Why did he make this so hard? How will Ram ever be able to lift this? So then Lakshman, he gets angry. When Lakshman comes, Lakshman was always Ram's junior, meaning Ram's the oldest, I'll do whatever Ram wants. But if Ram ever says something that would put his life into hardship, because Lakshman's the junior, he has to listen to Ram. So he was not very happy with the way that the Ramayana played out, because Ram had to go through so much suffering and Lakshman had to listen to Ram in his suffering. So Lakshman said, next time I come, I'm going to be the older brother, so you have to listen to me. So he came as Balaram next time. Yes. So he came as Balaram next time so that he could never let Krishna get into all kinds of nonsense, things that Ram willingly got into and he couldn't tolerate. But he had to because of the proper thing to do, because I'm the junior. So, but Lakshman, why am I saying? He would listen to everything Ram would do. So, but Lakshman, he felt insulted. Did he just say that from our dynasty, the Raghava dynasty, and he stands up and he said, the kings of the Raghava dynasty will certainly, this bow is nothing for them, and he starts talking all this trash. And then Ram's like, Lakshman, please, come. And this is the nature of Lakshman. He's very fiery and angry, and he'll tolerate no offense towards Ram or any pure devotees. This is actually the skillful use of anger. This is controlled anger, one of the instances from the Ramayana of somebody who's completely humble and controlled of the senses and tolerant is Hanuman. Even though he went to Lanka and burned down and killed millions of Ravan's army because he did not one thing for his own sense of enjoyment and did only everything for Ram, he's the most humble. So this should be understood, and Lakshman is also like that. He's the Supreme Lord, and he will not tolerate any type of insult to Ram. He will not tolerate any type of insult to anything to do with Ram. And he's saying, Ram could easily do this. So now Ram's like, please, Lakshman, you're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing us. But he said, and then they said, well, will you try? And so Ram, okay. And he humbly goes up there. But Vishwamitra, he knew. He put his head down because he knew something incredible is about to happen. And so, and he was like a little like, oh man, I don't want to draw attention. So he put his head down, and Lord Ram, he goes up to the bow and everyone's staring. And Lord Ram, he lifts the bow with his left hand. Everyone's like, oh! And but he has to string it. And then he takes the bow and he strings it back, and he strings it back so far, a crack of thunder comes out of the bow, and the bow is completely snapped. So then everyone is just looking like, oh my goodness. And Sita is just looking like, oh my God. Like, yes! Like the most heroic, most beautiful thing. Every woman wants that, if she's searching for a man, wants that, incredible hero personality. And he just fulfilled every expectation, and she's just head over heels. So now what's to happen is that Sita is to garland Ram, because she's chosen him as the husband. He's been successful, and that's like the significance of marriage, in the Vedic marriage ceremony, which we're all going to, as a community, we're going to have one soon. One of the rituals in the marriage is the garlanding of the other, and that signifies that we're each other's, and we're here to do service together, through thick or thin, till death do us part, and so on. So Sita is going to garland Ram, but there's a problem, because she's so head over heels for Ram right now, and just so much in ecstasy, she can't lift her arms. So now all her sakis, or her friends, they're looking at this and like, oh no, she's blowing it. So they run over to her to try to lift her arms over. But actually, this is an example of how serving the Lord with no hands can be better than serving the Lord with two hands. Because if you're serving the Lord with two hands, there's not so much love that has come, where it's one of the things that can come, is we sing in the morning, Ramancha Kampa Shrutaranga Bajo Vande Guru Shri. So these are called sattvic bhavs. Ramancha, the hairs will stand on end. Kampa, the body will tremble. And it also will reach a point of stamba, will be stunned. And ashru, tears will come. And taranga, like in flow, the flow in tears. And bhajo, they'll feel this. This is speaking to the guru. Now what's to speak of, like Sita and Ram's? So she's like completely like stunned in ecstasy. And her sakis are seeing, so they run up to her. Okay, let's lift her arms. So they start to lift. But then there's another problem. Oh, Ram, you're so tall. And would you just please bow your head so we can help her get this garland? And Sita's still like, And so Ram, he said, the head of the Raghu dynasty will never bow before anyone. So he wouldn't do it because it's against his dharma. I'm representing my father, the king of the world. I cannot bow down. So Lakshman, he knew what to do. He said, oh, okay. And so he went before Ram and he touched his feet. So when a junior comes and touches your feet, which is like proper etiquette, like, Lakshman, especially like his younger brother, it's part of the etiquette for the older sibling or the older person to reach down and like bless them and grab them and say, no, come and like pull them up. So when he went down to grab Lakshman, the Saki said, now is our chance. And then they helped Sita garland Ram, and then they were set to be married. So it's very nice. Also, it should be understood, this pastime also set up thousands of other romantic escapades for Krishna in the future, because it wasn't just Sita who was attracted to Ram. Everybody was attracted to Ram. All of Sita's sisters were attracted to Ram. And she had, I forget, maybe 1,000 sisters, let's say. A large number of sisters. And so they all became gopis in the future. And that was one of the reasons Krishna had to come, because he had to fulfill what was left off. So this is one thing that happened here. But now Sita and Ram are married. The most beautiful couple you could ever imagine. They've gotten married. And they, everything is wonderful and lovely. So now everyone in Ayodhya, when they come back and then Ram brings Sita, the most beautiful goddess ever, everyone is just ecstatic and in joy. And then on top of that, because also Lakshman was there and he was so wonderful, and Janak Maharaj, he said, I have these other daughters. And so Lakshman got married to one, and then they also arranged for Bharat and Shatrughna to get married to Sita's sisters. So it was, all kinds of, happiness. They all got these beautiful, they came back, and now there's beautiful wives for everyone, there's beautiful husbands for everyone, everyone in the city is ecstatic, and life is just so grand. And life is perfect for all the citizens of Ayodhya. But because if the Lord just sits there in Ayodhya and lives his perfect, wonderful pastimes in life there, then some of the other reasons he came here, like Paritranaya, Sadhunam, and Vinashaya, Chidushkritam. These things still have to happen. How will all the wicked people get destroyed if he's just sitting there enjoying in happiness forever in Ayodhya? So, lo and behold, the demigods also knew this. So they said, okay, we have to, maybe push the envelope here. We got to speed things up here. We have our objectives too. The Lord is supposed to help us. He said he would come here for this. Because this is also should be understood every time that the Lord comes. Oftentimes, it's in the heavenly worlds, they're begging for the Lord, please, we have some objective, we have something that needs to be done here. And what needed to be done? The great demon Ravan was terrorizing everybody in the universe. Why? Because he was a devotee of the Lord coming down to pretty much prepare the scene for the Lord to have a good fight. And actually, I should say, because I'm not going to be able to finish, we're like the beginning of the Ramayana. We're like the very beginning. And I skipped so many things. This is going to, I don't know if we'll ever get to the end. But we'll try. So anyway, Ravan is really a problem. And so the demigods really want, hey, remember, you're supposed to get rid of this guy. He's unstoppable. So what did they do? One of the servants of Kaikeyi, she had like a cripple. She was like a hunchback. And also, that was a symptom of, she had like a bit of impurity in her. And what is that impurity? She had pride. She enjoyed being the, most recognized servant of Queen Kaikeyi. Why? Because Kaikeyi was well known as she is the favorite queen. And so I am the servant of the favorite queen. I'm the best. Like this. We have this. This can also be done in spiritual life, or supposed spiritual life. I have a wonderful guru. Everyone loves my guru. I'm the servant of guru. I'm the best. And instead of it's about being, I'm the servant, it's about me. Look at me. Big problem. So Manthara had this. So the demigods, they knew, we can expose this. So what did they do? They, psychically put a bunch of thoughts in her head that, but now that Ram, he's surely going to be king, and then Kaushalya will be, he will be the ruler, and then you'll become some less prominent servant. You won't be so important at all. Someone else will take your position. We must stop this. So Manthara, and when she found out about this, she was furious. So one day, she went in there to Kaikeyi, and what happened was also Dasharath, he had, if you study astrology, there's certain times in your life things are favorable, and there's certain situations in your life that are favorable, and there's certain situations that are not favorable. So if devotees are intelligent, they try to follow the favorable astrology. Like, for instance, we're trying to plan a festival for Prem Prayojan Prabhu. But I was not allowed to get any answer until Mercury retrograde was over. So I had to wait. Mercury retrograde goes through and everything. And I saw why, because everything I planned in Mercury retrograde went screwy anyway, because that's the nature of Mercury retrograde. It's just it's not good to plan things during Mercury retrograde. So anyway, he wouldn't do it. And so now once Mercury retrograde ended, then immediately everything lifted and it was time to plan things again. So anyway, this is a small example, but Dasharath, he realized in his astrology that his life is being projected to be coming to a close. He's older now in years. Even though he's still strong and a great warrior, he's older in years. So what to do? He decided, I have to crown Ram as the king. Ram has to be crowned. Why? Because if I die and Ram isn't king, this will go into chaos. If there's no king, the whole society is in jeopardy. The king is very important because he keeps everything in check. And if there's no clear king, then who knows the type of unrest that could happen there. So like this, Ram, he confidentially went to Ram and he said, I would like to coronate you. My dear Ram, you're the most dear thing to me, and so much love and affection. And so he wants to coronate Ram. And all of the citizens start to hear, and everyone's happy, including Kaikeyi. Everyone's happy. But Manthara, and also Kaikeyi also has a hidden objective that she's supposed to do, and I will talk about that not today. But Kaikeyi has a hidden also role that she is supposed to play that's only known to her and Ram. And so I'll explain, that will be for Sunday's end. That the only way you may know, or you could research it. But maybe someone will tell you online. So what ends up happening is Manthara starts calling Kaikeyi a fool because she's actually, Manthara is elder to Kaikeyi and also has a really intimate relationship, even I think to the point of even where she nursed her in her youth. So it's like a really motherly relationship. But when grandma or mom is chastising you, you just take it. Even if you're a great personality, I always want to say the President of the United States, but not too many people respect him anymore. So that position anymore. It's not even the him, it's just anyone in that position, most people somehow or other, the most of the population doesn't respect so much. So, but a really important personality is there, but when they get before their mother, they're like, they're like, yes, mommy, whatever, like this. So anyway, Kaikeyi is taking the chastisement of Manthara, and she's saying, you great fool, don't you see what's happening? Ram is going to get, and your son, and you're going to be cast aside, and all these things. Kaikeyi is a pure devotee. None of these things really affect her, but Kaikeyi also, she had a role to play, and now is the time to play it. So she started accepting Manthara's advice, and she says, well, what do I do about this? Even if so, Dasharath is trying to cast me aside and, neglect Bharat, my son, for Ram. But Ram is, so loving to his brothers, but Manthara is so perverted now in thought. She's telling Kaikeyi all the worst things. And Kaikeyi, for whatever reason, she's accepting. So now Kaikeyi is saying, Manthara, what to do? What should I do in this situation? And so Kaikeyi, Manthara says, well, do you remember when Dasharath was fighting with the demigods in heaven, but he fought so valiantly that and his chariot got destroyed, and you took him on the chariot and you went to war with him, and you brought him to a safe place, and you mended all his wounds, and you took care of him and everything like this. She said, don't you remember this? He said he'll give you any boon that you desire. So now use your boons. He said he'd give you any 2 boons that you desire. So now use your 2 boons. And she said, well, what 2 boons? She said, first, you have to send Ram to the forest. I said, Ram how could I do that? No, he'll be, I can't send Ram to the forest. We all love Ram so much. She's like, it's the only way. If he doesn't go to the forest for 14 years, no matter what happens, the citizens will always want him. Unless he's gone and out of the picture, they'll never accept Bharat as king. So Manthara convinces her in so many ways, while Ram has to go to the forest. Remember, this is all part of Leela. Just like when a movie director, he creates a movie, if everything just goes so swimmingly and nicely throughout the movie, it's not a good movie. Like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and all these epic movies, right? There has to be a compelling problem. There has to be a compelling, victim. There has to be a compelling villain and things like this. So all this has to be there. So in the Lord's Leelas, all that has to be there as well. And just like when you watch a movie and you get really absorbed, I never was able to do it much, but some movies it happened. But whenever I would watch a movie with my mom's over there crying at the movie. I was, Mom, it's fake. It's fake, Mom. This person, crying at what's happening to the actors on stage. But the Lord, he's not fake. But he comes here and he also acts, he plays like a skillful actor in this world. And if you're too much in Shantaras like me, where you're too just observing from the outside, you can't cry. And you say, okay, yes, it's just a pastime. But if you get absorbed in it, like the great devotees, then you'll feel all the things. And so this pastime starts to bring everyone who sees to tears. So I was able to really absorb themselves in this way. So what happens is, it's convinced that Ram has to go to the forest for 14 years, and that he has to make Bharat king. So these are the two boons that she wants. Yes. Do you have something better you'd like to share? So, yes. Maybe we'll understand that when he can tell this katha when he's older, and maybe he'll do it much nicer than I'm doing. But so now Ram has to be cast to the forest for 14 years, and then Bharat is said to be king. So what happens is one day. So now just imagine, King Dad comes to you and he says, my dear son, or maybe if you're a daughter and imagining, my dear daughter, you will be the ruler of the world. Tomorrow, I want you to take this. You're my favorite. You're most qualified. This is for you. Please do this. And yes, Father, anything you ask. Yes, Mom, whatever, whoever. And now that's the plan. But then next thing you know, the next day, what ended up happening over that night, after that happened, is, this is funny, but in Vedic culture, when a woman gets angry, she never, ever, ever speaks up against her husband. In Vedic culture. In our culture, it's not happening. Our culture, it's not happening. Never, ever, ever speaks up against the husband. Now Shivadas is in. He's all right. I got to hear everything about this. Vedic relationship advice. So anyway, in Vedic culture, a woman never, ever will speak disrespectfully to her husband. It's just considered to be very adharmic. And it's actually, there's all kinds of psychological reasons too. It actually doesn't allow for the woman to naturally shine her real strength, which is in sweetness. The real strength of a woman is in sweetness. The strongest man in the world, it doesn't matter what kind of shouting match you get in with him, he'll overcome you. But the strongest man, and any of the strongest man in the world can be brought down by his knees to the tenderness of a woman. So a woman's real strength is in her tenderness, actually. So all the wives, they know this. They're not dumb. They know, I know exactly how to get him. So they have something called a sulking chamber. So when the woman is upset, instead of going and, you idiot, like this, she goes to the sulking chamber and she goes to the place in the palace. There's a special room and she gets all these gross clothes. Instead of looking beautiful, also a woman always is supposed to be look beautiful for her husband too. But instead of looking beautiful for her husband, she puts on raggedy clothes and just goes to this chamber and just sulks and cries. And lays on the floor and won't talk to anyone until whatever is ailing her is fixed. So similarly, any proper man, if he sees a woman in such a condition, he's, I'll do anything. What do I need to do for you? What can I do? And so Kaikeyi knew exactly what to do, goes to the sulking chamber. She's down on the ground, crying and sulking, and won't talk to anybody. And then so when Dasharath comes home and he's doing his rounds, he's always, where's my favorite wife? Where is she? And he's so happy too. My son's going to be king tomorrow. I get to fulfill my duty as father. He's so happy and he wants to celebrate with his wife. But where is she? So next thing you know, the servants, they tell, she went to the sulking chamber. The sulking chamber. I know we don't have a sulking chamber, but maybe if you found your wife in the closet or something. She's crying in the closet or something, he also likes. So you're crying in the closet, you say, well, honey, what are you doing? Or in the bathroom or something. Please get out of there. So anyway, Dasharath, he goes to the sulking chamber and she gets him good, and he's, what can I do? And she's, no, nothing, please. Leave me be. And so next thing you know, it's like a wrestle, and he's like, no, what can I do for you? Honey, I'll do anything for you. I love you so much. She said, you'll do anything? Yes, of course. Do you remember those? Do you remember those boons that you said you would give me some years ago? Yes, yes. What? I'll fulfill them. Anything you ask. Trap set, finished. Why? He's a man of Dharma. A man of Dharma will never, ever cross Dharma except if it will conflict on a higher Dharma. Which actually it will conflict on a higher Dharma, and you'll actually see Dasharatha try to break Dharma, but because Ram is the Maryada Purushottam avatar, he's come to establish Dharma and do everything by Dharma, Ram will check him at every step of the way. So what happens is she says, these are the two boons. And she goes through her devious plan with him, and he's just like completely heartbroken, shattered, completely shocked. How did my most favorite, beautiful, amazing wife turn into such a horrid person and such a villain who wants these things and wants to banish like her favorite son? She loves him, I know. So she can't fathom, he can't fathom, and he's right because honestly, she is a pure devotee and this shouldn't be the case. But because there's a secret plan here, she's going through with this whole thing. And so, what turned into a very celebratory day, even though in the astrology they kept getting bad omens. And Dasharatha was nervous, but he's like, no, we just set up the plan. It's all going to go good. I just set up the plan. It's all supposed to go good. But the omens were there. The unfavorable stars, but also you'll see, like if you see like a jackal howling, or you see like crows gawking, or vultures coming down. These are all like omens that, something not good is happening. You can naturally know this. You ever just get like a creepy vibe out by like, that was creepy. These are foretelling events, actually. This is the universe telling you things. So anyway, if you don't notice, you'll notice. You'll start to notice things. Actually, the Native Americans were really into this. They have the totem animals. This animal is a good thing, good, auspicious. This animal, oh my gosh. Well, we have to do some yagya or something to counteract the omens. So like this, all cultures are doing like this. So bad omens keep coming before, and then now, next thing you know, the sulking chamber, and then he gets completely betrayed by his favorite wife, which, imagine if you happen to like your wife or have a wife, or your girlfriend, you're just getting betrayed by the person you love the most. Just like, oh my God, punch to the gut, and he's just completely, he didn't sleep all night, and he's, pretty much fainting, going in and out of fainting all night, and the next thing you know, but he's now bound by Dharma to fulfill her desires, which is a big deal. We can't even fathom what it means to follow Dharma. Just like even it's described that, how great the gopis are because they're willing to give up Dharma for Krishna. But we can't even fathom anything to do with that because we have no problem giving up Dharma. We're not Dharmic at all. He's like, oh yeah, I already don't follow Dharma. But because of that, we can't even fathom how great the gopis are that they will give up their Dharma because it's so dear to a great devotional personality. Dharma is the most dearest thing, other than that which is pleasing to Bhagavan himself. And the only thing that could ever cause you to cross Dharma would be the desire of Krishna or God himself. That would be the only thing. So for such a dharmic person as Dasharatha, to be, torn in this way, to have to banish his son for Dharma is just like oh my God. For us, it's like, yeah, just don't do it. Because we have no values for practicing Dharma. You're just like, yeah, we just do whatever you want. That's what I do all the time. How's it working for us? It's not working so good, right? We could all be honest, it's not working so good. To the extent that you follow Dharma is the extent you'll be happy. This is the reason it's there. You follow Dharma, you'll experience happiness. That's the point. Actually, that which is Dharma gives pleasure to others. That which is Dharma is that which is pleasing to others, and that which is sinful, which is that which is not pleasing to others. Yeah, it's the easy metric, And now, we should study the intricacies of Dharma. It's a very intricate study. But so we can't even fathom how painful a situation Dasharatha is in. It's like we can't even fathom how glorious the gopis are for being able to give up every facet of Dharma for Krishna's pleasure. We can't even fathom, because we give up every facet of Dharma for our own silly whims. But the more we purify and how dear Dharma becomes to us, we'll realize in these pastimes, we'll realize just how great these devotees are. And just how wrenching this story actually is, how wrenching this pastime is for Dasharath. And what's to speak of Dasharath? For everybody involved. So, Dasharath, it finally comes the next day. The coronation is supposed to happen. But now, Dasharath and Kaikeyi are there, and Dasharath is begging Kaikeyi all night, begging, please, you wicked woman, how could you be like this? And you're arguing and, calling her mean names in the most tasteful dharmic way possible, but still, not happy with her, clearly, for good reason. And so, what happens is it becomes revealed when Ram goes there for his coronation, to prepare for the coronation. Instead, the news has to be broken to him. And Dasharath can't even break the news. He won't do it. He won't do it, but Kaikeyi speaks on behalf of him. And Ram says immediately, if my father tells me to drink poison, or jump in fire, or to go sink in the ocean, I'll do it. Because this is Dharma. Dharma means your seniors, yes. Yes. No question. That's crazy. Are you sure? Nope. You do it, I'm doing it. This is Dharma, actually. Ram, the epitome of Dharma. Father wants me to do this. My father, my devotee father, who's in good standing in every way, he must have a good reason. I'll do it immediately. For his reputation, he was promised that he had to give boons to Kaikeyi. I cannot let him break his promise. And he does, like this. We can't even fathom. No way. I'm not going. I'll kill you. I'm not going. I'm going to go in the forest for 14 years. Are you nuts? You crazy? Like, if my dad told me to do that, I wouldn't be able to do it. Like, Dad, no. I've been telling my dad no my whole life. I still tell my dad no. I'm trying to learn how to be dharmic, but, luckily, I'm trying to do the Yuga Dharma and stay on that and let that be the precedent for how I disobey my father. But Dasharath is perfectly situated in Dharma. So you should never disobey him. He's perfectly situated. If our seniors are perfectly situated in Dharma, we should always listen to them. So, Ram, he's immediately ready to go to the forest. And then everybody's like, no! All the news breaks out. Everybody loves Ram. They're so excited. It's supposed to be the best day of their life. The new youthful king who's going to rule over our country in the best possible way, the most qualified, the jewel of our society. Here he is, he's going to be king, and now he's being ripped away from us by this villain Kaikeyi. And so, lo and behold, so many things were said, so many exchanges, Dasharath pleading and begging and trying to cheat the system, cheat her boons, just go and touch the other side and come back. Or, you know what, Ram, let's all go with you. We'll all go with you and leave Kaikeyi here. And, she can rule the kingdom alone. We'll go to a new kingdom. So they were ready to give it up everything. And they didn't want to give up Ram. But Ram, because he had pastimes to perform, he said, no, Father, please. My mother has given this, let me honor this. And so Ram, he left. But before he left, it's a little heart-wrenching. Lakshman could not tolerate. Sita could not tolerate. So we're going to end here because it's already 8:30, but we have to do arati. That's why it's like at the beginning of the pastime. There's so much Ramayan. There's so much, and I've been doing a pretty good job of staying on track and keeping going. It hasn't been like, stagnance. But it's just too much. Anyway, we'll try to scratch the surface. So Sita, she hears. So Ram goes and approaches her because he was instructed out of mercy, go say goodbye to your mother and go say goodbye to your wife. Imagine, happily married, happily ready to be king, and then now you have to go say bye. See you later. 14 years. So, this will be an example of how sometimes disobeying somebody out of love is better than obeying them. So Ram goes to Sita and he tells her what happened, and she's shocked. And she immediately says, I want to go to the forest with you. And he's like, no, I command you, you must stay here. The forest is no place. You're a delicate princess. What will your father think? All these things. No, absolutely not. And Sita gives in so many wonderful, captivating words. All the reasons why she is not going to obey Ram at all, and that she is going to the forest with him. And after all of her arguments were put forth, Ram's heart melted, and he was very pleased with her. So this is actually an example, and actually there's a really good example of one of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers and Bhaktisiddhanta's chief disciples, who is also the Param Gurudev, or the Gurudev of Narayan Maharaj, and Param Gurudev of some of you here. No, Param Gurudev. So Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, he one time, I'll end with this pastime, so no more Ramayan today. But Bhakti Pragyan Keshav, one time he was told by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, your mother is dying and we have gotten word, go visit your mother before she dies. Go visit. You've heard this before? You might have heard this before. You've heard this one before, Dainya? It's nice, very nice. So he says, go and visit your mother. So Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, he says, oh, my mother. Yes, Gurudev. And he bows and he leaves. And do you know what he did? He went outside of the temple, he circled it, and then he went back and he hid in some room, and he did not go and visit his mother. So some days went by and the mother passed, and word got back to Bhakti Siddhanta. Well, where is Vinod Bihari? This was his name before. Vinod, the word is he did not go visit her. He disobeyed me. And then so now he's very angry. Where is he? And so some of the disciples who were hiding him, they're okay. They fessed up. All right, he's here doing this, and this. And so then he said, bring him to me right now. Very angry. This is like one of my prized disciples. How could he disobey me? So I'm not sure what he was thinking, but that's what we were all thinking. How could he disobey him? Why? What good reason could he have? So Vinod Bihari, he comes before Bhakti Siddhanta. He says, yes, Gurudev. And he's why? Why did I told you to visit your mother? Why would you disobey me? Why would you not visit her? She's leaving her life. She's a great Vaishnava. You could have done something to help assist her. And Vinod Bihari, he starts crying. He says, Gurudev, I could not do it. He said, why? He said, Gurudev, in a culture, it's the Dharma that if a dying person makes a request of you, you must honor it. This is in Vedic culture, right? If especially a dying relative makes a request, you have to honor it. And he said, I've had millions upon millions of mothers in every lifetime that I've been in. But it's so rare to have the association of a guru. And if I would have went there and she would have made some request to manage the estate that drew me away from my service to Guru, I could not have tolerated it. So I had to disobey your order. Gurudev, please forgive me. So Bhakti Siddhanta starts crying. And he picks him up and he hugs him, he embraces him. Go on. Get out. Why? Because this is an example of how disobeying Guru, senior out of love, this is greater than obeying, actually. If it's purely out of love and it's purely for their service, this is so good. So Sita, she would not obey Ram in any circumstance. I will not lie. You will not go to the forest without me. I must go with you. My whole life is only devoted to you. And like this. And so she went to the forest. Lakshman also was not going to be able to tolerate without Ram. And actually Lakshman's wife, she had the hardest thing. Even Sita was with Ram the whole time in the forest until the whole next part of the pastimes happened. But we'll talk about that Sunday. But But she, here it is, not even her husband got banished, but then he just goes off with her because he could not tolerate. But this is the strong devotion of all the devotees involved. Lakshman, I mean, I kid you not, it said he did not even sleep 1 hour, one minute. In the whole year plus, he's completely conquered sleep. But he's also the Supreme Lord, most recently come as Nityananda Prabhu. You remember on Nityananda Trayadashi we were telling the pastimes of how Nityananda and his friends, even Krishna and his friends, they would reenact Ramayana, these things, and Nityananda said, when they said, how are you so good at these pastimes? He said, these are my pastimes. Wow. Yes, they are his pastimes. So anyhow, so this is where we'll end. And they get banished to go to the forest. Oh no. One of my favorite pastimes. It happens just after this. I wanted to tell, and I made every intent. Make sure you tell this pastime. Make sure you tell this pastime. This was my whole intention, and I can't tell it. Sunday I'll tell my favorite pastime. It's so good. It's so good. So you see how wonderful Ram Leela is? How amazing it is? Is this, it is not good enough. Let's just hear Krishna Leela. No, it's so amazing actually. Ram Leela is incredible. We should always want to hear these things. Because this will qualify us for Krishna Leela. Just like we should want to hear every part of the Bhagavatam, because this will qualify us for what our end goal is here. We should always want to hear these things. We should always want to hear. But anyhow, due to our silliness, we may prioritize other things in life. But if we get properly situated again, we'll always want to go and hear the pastimes of the Lord and be in the association of devotees. So anyhow, thank you guys so much. I apologize for not getting very far into the Ramayana. There's so much more. I think it's possible, if I really heavily condense it, to be able to finish Sunday. So I will try to finish Sunday. We're going to do an arati now. If you have questions, just ask me afterwards in person. Even if there are some, we're just too late. But we're going to do arati now, so Madhav, let's close the deities. Thank you guys so much for giving me the opportunity to speak on Ram Leela. And may Shri Shri Sitaram bless us all. Jai. Thank you guys.